Hey, everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. So we're heading into NBA Finals Game 7. And I was thinking about this, and I got to give some credit to a mentor of mine in the business, Jonas Knox, who brought this up. And I want to kind of expand on this, just how long the NBA playoffs have been going on. We have been through now 2 full months of NBA playoff basketball. And some of it we don't even remember. That's how long this has been going on. So basically, here's the thing. The NBA playoffs have been very long for a long time, but this now with us heading into a game 7 in the NBA playoffs, and I think this has got to be outside of a COVID season, because remember that season that was delayed. They went into July in 2021 between the Bucks and the Suns. That was into July, and then literally, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday had to get on a plane because they were playing for Team USA in the Olympics. So it was one of those things where it was kind of crazy, and there was probably more people involved in that series that were. I don't know if Giannis ended up playing in the Olympics that year. I can't remember for Greece, but basically that's different this year. It is June 22nd. June 22nd. When the Cavs won the championship, it was June 19th. This is way too long for a season to go on. And we complain all along about the Major League Baseball season being 162 games. They get their playoffs over in a month. They get their they end in September, in late September, early October. They're done by the first week of November. The NBA goes 2 months. 2 months. You want some context here? So let's talk about real world things that have happened. First off, there has been a pope has died, and we have named a new pope. And that happened within the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, and the playoffs are still going on. The NFL draft happened. If you want to go into the sports thing, and then here's another sports thing that's an example. The College World Series is going on. The Women's College World Series, that started and ended in early June. It started mid-May and ended in early June. The men's college baseball tournament, that started, and the teams were selected on Memorial Day. And here we are. If LSU wins today in Omaha, we would conceivably have a national champion in college baseball before we have an NBA champion. That tournament started less than a month ago. There's no reason for the NBA, and the NHL's got the same problem too. Their playoffs are way too long. They started on the exact same day, but their season ended game 6. I think it was Tuesday night they ended. So, and congratulations to the Panthers on winning their second straight Stanley Cup. But seriously, man, this is way too long of a postseason, especially when it's an 82-game season, and then you're asking teams to go through 7-game series in 3 consecutive. You're going through a 7-game series in the first round, and then a 7-game series in the second round, and then the conference finals. Potentially, you could have a team if all 4 series to get to the championship. You would have to play 28 games. 28 games. That's way too much. And when you think about it, like I said, the fact that college baseball and college softball could potentially crown a champion before the NBA crowns a champion, that's way too long. And I understand that some of this is they could dominate the headlines and they get their own shine to it. But guys, we're almost into July after an 82-game season that was not delayed, that started all the way back in October. Wrap this up. Jonas was on to something. I was thinking about it for a little bit, and I just was like, guys, this is way too long. And I looked at the calendar, and I was like, listen, when the Cavs won the championship, it was June 19th, 2016. We're 3 days past that. It was June 19th when it was game 6. This went even later. And then on top of it, you got to turn around in early October to get ready for a preseason and ramp up for a regular season. 2 things need to happen. Number 1, the NBA, I've been on this for a long time. The NBA season needs to be shortened. It needs to be 66, 72, something like that. Something shorter. because first of all, the players don't want to play 82 games. The load management, this is a good compromise. I don't know if the NBA will want to do it. Also, I think it should start on Christmas Day. Christmas Day. That although I don't even know if it should start on Christmas Day anymore because the NFL has kind of put their stamp on that day as well, and that used to be the NBA's day, so they're losing that. The other thing I think that needs to happen in the playoffs, and one thing that I like about the baseball playoffs is they have the wild card series that they added. That's 3 games. Then you've got the division series, which is 5. And then you've got the championship series, which is 7. And then the World Series is a maximum of 7 games. If I'm the NBA, and they may not want to do this, to make this thing more of a crapshoot, have, obviously those playing games. You can debate those until you're blue in the face. The playing games, I think, are still good. But the problem is you're putting the whole league basically into this tournament. But then you got to go, when you get to the first round, should be 3 games. Second round should be 5 games. And then the conference and NBA finals should be 7 games. And that should be the way that the playoffs should work. It would shorten things up. It would create potentially some unpredictability and some urgency from teams. Like, let's say the 1 versus 8 matchup and the team loses the first game, then hey, there's some urgency for them to win that second game rather than this extend out. It creates more parity. It creates more unpredictability in these matchups. And above all else, it gets this thing over quickly. Like, we shouldn't be having to go all the way into June, almost near the 4th of July, when this playoff thing started after tax day in April. That's way too long of a season. So shout out to Jonas for bringing this to the forefront. I wanted to expand on it a little bit and just basically give you guys some context. We've had a new pope. We've had an NFL draft. We've had the NFL schedule announced. We've had a college softball champion crowned. If LSU wins today, we could have a college baseball champion before an NBA champion is crowned. We've already, even though it started around the same time, hockey has already ended. They've got to figure out a way to make this a lot more digestible, because I think a lot of people are getting tired of this because, hey, it's gone on way too long. I don't think that's the reason why the NBA ratings have been down and the reflection of the product, but, that's where we are with this whole thing. So everybody should enjoy this because this is going to be the last night of basketball that we're going to get until October. I mean, we'll get the draft next week. That's a crazy thing. The draft is literally Wednesday. Season's going to be over and the draft's Wednesday. So enjoy it. Should be a lot of fun in Oklahoma City. We'll see what happens. Somebody's going to get their first championship, which I think is really cool, and I think that's a lost part of this thing. But we've got to speed up the postseason. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.